Um, I caught a older video, Max Blumenthal. I've been watching him quite lately. I was looking at him before Michael Brooks, and um, Michael Brooks was more of a domestic guy. He was more of an economic guy. He was not really a military foreign policy guy. He talked about foreign policy, but that's not really what Michael Brooks was. And that's what I've gone back to. I liked Michael. I watched Majority Report. They still make some good stuff from time to time that I'll watch, but I can't watch them. It's like I talked about in an earlier video that sometimes you got to be thankful for moments. That's what life is. Life is a series of moments, and you got to be thankful because one thing can change in a moment's over with. People say, "I'm not in love with you anymore." That happens, and you've got to roll with the punches, but you've got to be thankful for the moments, the beautiful sunsets, eating, exotic food. It's trying new things, trying new food you may not have tried before. You gotta you gotta appreciate things and appreciate moments and appreciate people while they're here. How do they say it? Give me my flowers while I'm here, not when I'm dead, something like that. Max Blumenthal was talking about RussiaGate, and I'll be honest. I used to watch a little bit of American media when I was in Charlotte. I used to watch a little bit, very little bit. And my dad believed that stuff. He's an MSNBC guy, fucking establishment Democrat stuff, and that's fine. That's fine. Um, Max Blumenthal was talking about RussiaGate basically falling apart and things like that. I'm not gonna say that Russia didn't mail in the election. I'm sure they did. I said this to my dad. I told everybody this. What country has America not meddled in regards to elections? What country? I'm waiting. Iran, Venezuela, Guatemala. That's a few. I can tell you a little about Iran. Operation Ajax. Talk about that. I'm not gonna say they didn't have a hand in the election, but I think that when you do that, you're suppressing. I don't want to say white revolutionaries. I call them white reactionaries. Okay, wink, wink. I call them white reactionaries that were at Charlottesville, that were at January 6th insurrection, that were at other events where people died or got hurt. I think America's got a very serious problem. And I think that we start dealing with that by discussing what NAFTA's done and discussing what these horrible economic policies have done and discussing the path America has taken and the mistakes we've made over the last 20 years, 30 years, whatever. The answer is not to look for a boogeyman, to look for there's some predator out there in the bushes. That's not it, man. I'm not selling that program. I'm not selling that program. If you want to do that program, go somewhere else. But I think that we've got to look at, because if you don't deal with it, what happens next time you get a Trump? What happens if next time they try to take the Capitol and the police really do step aside? And you got a charismatic leader who's not like Trump, who's not calling folks Pocahontas and making stupid jokes. What happens when you get the next Trump? America has a problem, a serious one. And the way, like I said, the way to recognize what we're facing is not. I mean, it's almost like if the dating example, somebody wants to leave you, and your first thought is they're cheating on me, and not that you just have done things that they don't like. That maybe you're just a bad partner. Maybe you're a bad husband or a bad wife. Maybe you're just bad. Some things you snore. You snore. You're bad with money. You're abusive. But instead of you recognizing that you as a person are incomplete, that you are a flawed human, it is to turn outwards. And I think that's what RussiaGate is. I think RussiaGate is a way of the establishment to try to further demonstrate some type of control. Once again, I wouldn't be surprised if Russia did it. But you just like, see, this is the problem. Trump gets in office, and Democrats are, well, it's the Russians, oh, the Russian conspiracy, oh, the Russians behind it. White people try to run on the Capitol. Oh, it's all Antifa. It's Antifa. It's all fake. Antifa did it. Antifa did it. No. This is what happens when you have a nation that is collapsing, that is divided. I got up this morning, I was thinking about this for some reason. I was thinking about when we had, when the pandemic first started. And it came to me about, somebody told me this a while back, and it just stayed in my mind. The fact that they ran out there with the guns within, a week or two of the quarantines, that shows you America's in a bad way. That's not stuff nations do when they're like cohesive. And that's stuff you do when you're in a nation that's already a civil war. That shows you America has a problem. That shows you better than all the body cams, all the police brutality, all that stuff. All that stuff aside, that shows you America is messed up internally. There's a disconnect, a big one. What you gonna do? Shoot the virus? What's you gonna do with that gun? And wage war with the government? Come on, man. That's what that was. People that are they're itching, and let's understand something. Something could have happened, a car backfiring or something, and those guys could open fire and they could have killed somebody with those protests. We had folks went to hospitals blocking ambulances. I don't know if you guys remember, there was a video where the nurses were standing out there and they were blocking cars from going into the hospitals. And then people were just cussing at them. I remember that shit. This country is fucked up. Russians didn't do that. The Chinese didn't do that. You're dealing with a sort of a societal resentment towards change. I mean, I don't mean to go back into the COVID thing again, but the idea a president can say wearing masks is voluntary. You've never had a pandemic that went away without people wearing masks, without vaccines. I'm still, sometimes I think about that. What did Americans think? You just thought, just poof, the virus is over with, virus went away. Like, y'all know when they had the, 1918 or whatever? No, when they had polio. They were breaking in people's houses, holding them down and giving them shots. That shit just didn't just go away. They didn't just, oh, well, like that's, I think Americans have this great forgetting. That great forgetting of what made America what it is. And it wasn't all gravy. It wasn't all sweet. I just look at this. Once again, the idea that everything that goes wrong can blame it on a foreign country as Russia, that's a problem. And that's a blind spot, more importantly. That's a blind spot to a certain segment of the population that is really ungovernable. That they're fighting for the right to use racial slurs. They're fighting for the right to carry an M16 into Walmart. They're fighting. I mean, that's what we're dealing with. And I'm just starting to realize that maybe we can't reason with these people. Maybe, I think Max Blumenthal has a great point. You know, and the fact that he was hit on from so many sides when he first spoke out about his disbelief in the RussiaGate scandal, it shows he's on the right track. None of us are perfect, and all of us are going to fall short here and there. You're facing an empire. You're facing one of the most powerful warmongering empires in history. What Dr. King said, I can't. He wouldn't speak on violence in the hood because he was talking about the greatest purveyor of violence in the world, which is the U.S. government, and ain't nothing really changed since then. You're bombing 8 countries at the same time right now. Bombing 8 countries at the same time, and that's how Trump got elected. That's how he got elected. Folks want to move away from war, but not want to acknowledge the American empire for what it is, just, oh, it's the deep state, which is to say it's a few people, it's a few institutions. No. For Americans, war is a value that gives us meaning. Must understand that. Must understand that. Up front, period. That's just what it is. It's a value. That's manhood, killing, violence, carrying a gun. This is, I just and like the Russian man had a hand in some things. I don't know. I haven't looked at that stuff, but it's just it's a cop out. It's a cop out by the establishment to ignore greater problems. As I said before about the marriage analogy, that it isn't me, you're cheating on me. Someone's cheating on me. No, bro. Sometimes it's you. Sometimes you're flawed. You're not, there's something wrong. Thanks for listening.